I could barely hold myself still. Because not only have we seen the introduction of the deep dark cities inside today's preview, but we've also seen the introduction of the Allay. And as someone who's made dozens and dozens of Noteblock songs, I'm almost certainly going to be making a few videos on these Allays. But first off, let's see how they work and check out the rest of this preview. Starting off with one of the most obvious things, how you can actually find them, and there's actually a couple ways on you can actually find these guys, and the first place, and probably the more easy way in actually finding them, is actually inside of a pillager outpost, because as is tradition, you might expect like an iron golem or something to spawn inside of one of these cages, but occasionally you actually do get a chance of having an Allay spawn inside of here. And if you're willing to actually go the distance, then they actually do spawn inside of woodland mansions too. And I believe they're supposed to spawn inside of these prison areas, but at least this one it doesn't seem to have one. Nor does this particular mansion seem to have them spawn inside of here, but trust me, you do get a chance of actually having them spawn inside of woodland mansions. But you know, the easy route is just to find a pillager outpost. But let's see if we can get these things to actually work. Now, if we have a notebook placed down here, as is tradition, and we spawn it in a Allay, and we give it a cookie, if we can actually give it a cookie, yeah, you can see it has a cookie now, and its job is to actually see if it can find a cookie. If you actually hold the item that it's holding to, then it will actually follow you, as we can see right here, and if we actually do throw down some cookies, then it should actually pick them up, yep, as we can see right here, and then eventually it should actually go to a note block, if we can actually see it happen here. Will it? Oh, nope, it actually just threw it to me. So, yeah, I guess if it's close to the note block, it will give it to the note block. If it's close to the player, it actually, you know, was given the task and actually doing it, then it will give it to me. But let's see if we could actually get it to get to the note block. Follow the breadcrumbs, my pretty. Nope, still seems to be giving it to me. What if we were to power the note block somehow? Oh yeah, we can see right here, it looks as though it's sort of similar to how we see like a warden or something like that as it picks up the signal. So now if we actually drop down some cookies, then it should actually take it to the note block. Oh, is it gonna do it or is it gonna take it to me? Okay, let's step back a little bit. Let's step back and let's see. Yeah, it's actually dropping off the cookies. Though its aim in the hopper seems to be a bit off. So I guess if you want an Allay to take items directly to you, then make sure there's no note blocks playing. But if you want to have some sort of like automation happen, then make sure a note block is actually playing for the Allay to actually take it to some hoppers and some storage. So the Allay is turning out to be one of my favorite mobs inside the game already, even if it in its first preview and its first installation. But what about the rest of the things inside of this changelog? Well, apart from the warden, the deep dark has actually supposedly been introduced inside this preview. The only problem though is if we do the /locate command, we get nothing at all. And despite how hard they were to find on Java, I'll still have a look around for them in Bedrock for a bit. Well, here I was looking around expecting to find some deep dark biomes, but unfortunately they're not generating in yet, but there have been plenty of parity changes to the deep dark blocks. And speaking of parity, what perfect timing for this next change, in being that, if you remember, about a couple weeks ago I did release a video about me finding and farming 10,000 shulker shells the old-fashioned way, and as luck would have it, just a couple weeks after I released that video, Mojang actually finally released a parody of shulkers actually duplicating themselves. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this actually to happen, but we can at least try. Oh, yep, there we go. We can see another shulker actually managed to spawn from that one shulker bullet that hit the shulker. But yeah, perfect timing, Mojang. And speaking of perfect timing, this next change is quite odd because you can now place things such as redstone on top of trapdoors, which is kind of a cool thing until you actually power it, and you can see that the redstone dust actually manages to just pop off. So I guess if you want to get yourself a really quick one-tick thing that only happens once, then maybe it could be useful, but I don't know. I guess it's just, it is parity at least, and the more parity, the better, I guess. But honestly, apart from the Allay, the most interesting thing happens to happen on Pocket Edition, which I'm currently not on, but as of this one beta and preview, they actually changed the layout to the touch controls. And as you can see right here, this is the screenshot they actually used in actually showing off what it will look like now, and yeah, typically this might not seem as the biggest deal in the world, but I could sort of see it as maybe an opportunity for them to actually, you know, fully work on the new combats, because typically before they did say that because of the limitations of Pocket Edition, it was extremely difficult for them to actually, you know, implement the new combats and implementing things such as dual wielding into it. But now that they are making the changes, I think it's slightly more likely that we will be seeing some combat changes to Bedrock Edition eventually. But for everyone who wanted to see the Copper Golem or the Glare or something like that get introduced first, just give these little guys a chance. I mean, come on. They ride swords like witches on broomsticks. Who could possibly hate something like that?